It was Halloween night, and I was alone in my new house. I just moved in a few days ago, out on the edge of town, away from everything. Seemed like a perfect place to clear my head, but that night, something felt wrong. I could feel it before I saw anything. It was subtle at first. The way the shadows seemed to stretch just a little too long. The way the air inside felt colder than it should have. I brushed it off, told myself it was just nerves. New house, Halloween night. It had to be my imagination. Then the noises started. It came from upstairs. Just a faint thud, barely noticeable. I hesitated for a moment listening, but when it didn't happen again, I went back to what I was doing. But something still felt off, like I wasn't alone. You ever get that feeling? The kind that makes your skin crawl, makes you want to look over your shoulder? There was again. This time, it wasn't just a thud. It was footsteps. Light, cautious, like someone didn't want to be heard. But I could hear them. I grabbed a flashlight, heart racing, and slowly made my way up the stairs. Each step felt heavier than the last, the air thicker. The hallway stretched out in front of me, darker than it should have been. My bedroom door was open. I hadn't left it open. I shined a light into the room, expecting, hoping to see nothing. But there, at the far end of the room, something was standing in the corner. A figure, tall, shadowy, just barely visible. I blinked, and it was gone. Just like that. I stood frozen for what felt like forever, trying to convince myself it wasn't real. But then I heard the whisper. It was right behind me. I bolted out of the room, down the stairs, nearly tripping over my own feet as I ran for the front door. But when I got there, the door wouldn't open. The lock, it was stuck. I fumbled with it, pulling harder and harder, but it wouldn't budge. Then the footsteps started again, this time closer, coming down the stairs. I turned, and there it was, standing halfway down the stairs. It was clearer now, a figure draped in shadows, faceless, its presence suffocating the room. It started moving towards me, slow and deliberate, as if it knew I couldn't escape. That's when I heard it, a knock, not from the door, but from behind me. I turned, and there was another figure, standing just outside the window, watching me. The knock came again, and again, louder this time. I was trapped, nowhere to go, nothing to do. I screamed, loud and desperate, but the sound didn't seem to leave my throat. Then, everything went silent. The footsteps stopped, the knocking ceased. I looked back, and they were gone. The figures, the shadows, everything. It was just me, standing there, shaking. I don't know how long I stood there. Minutes? Hours? I don't even remember how I finally got the door open, but I did, and I ran, as fast as I could, out into the night. I never went back to that house. I couldn't. Whatever was in there, it wasn't meant to be seen. If you are enjoying the videos, make sure to like the video, and do well to smash that subscribe button. Also, comment your horror experience of Halloween. But sometimes I still hear the knocking. When I'm alone at night, lying in bed, I can hear it, just faintly, as if it's trying to remind me that it's not over, that whatever was in that house, it followed me.
It was a night like no other. The wind howled outside my window, rattling the old glass panes, as I sat alone in my dimly lit living room. Halloween had always been my favorite holiday, but this year felt different. Darker. Little did I know, the real horror was just beginning. Earlier that evening, I had decided to take a stroll through my neighborhood. Pumpkins grinned mischievously from porches, and laughter echoed from houses filled with costumed children. But there was one house that stood out. A decrepit old place at the end of the street, long abandoned yet somehow alive with an unsettling energy. I felt drawn to it, as if something inside was calling out to me. Against my better judgment, I approached the gate, which creaked open as if inviting me in. The air grew colder as I stepped onto the property. The interior was a time capsule of decay. Faded wallpaper peeling off the walls and furniture draped in ghostly white sheets. My heart raced as I explored room after room, each step echoing through the silence. That's when I found it. A dusty old mirror hanging crookedly on the wall. As I peered into it, something shifted behind me, a shadow darting past my periphery. I spun around, but there was nothing there. Just my racing heartbeat and the oppressive silence of the house. I backed away slowly, but then a whisper echoed through the room, chilling me to my core. "Stay with me." It was soft yet insistent. Panic surged through me as I stumbled backward into a table. If you are enjoying the videos, make sure to like the video and do well to smash that subscribe button. Also comment your horror experience of Halloween. I'd love to hear your stories. As I regained my balance and looked back at the mirror, it shimmered unnaturally. Suddenly, images flashed before my eyes. Visions of past Halloweens filled with laughter and joy turned into scenes of chaos and despair. Friends screaming as they ran from unseen horrors. I realized then that this mirror held more than just reflections. It trapped souls, lost spirits forever bound to relive their final moments on Halloween night. In that moment of clarity, I understood. If I didn't leave now, I might become one of them. Another lost soul trapped within this cursed glass. I bolted for the exit, heart pounding like a drum in my chest. But as I reached for the doorknob, it wouldn't budge. Panic surged through me as I turned back toward the mirror one last time. And there it was, the figure again, clearer this time. A twisted smile stretched across its face as it whispered once more, "Stay with me." I don't remember how I escaped that night or what happened afterward. All I know is that every Halloween since then has felt different. And sometimes, just sometimes, when I look into a mirror, I wonder if it's watching me back.